What's up, guys? How you doing? I have returned for my long-awaited recap of the Denver Supercross, even though Salt Lake City is tomorrow night. I will be around for that because Hawaii softball is on the road for their last series of the season, and that's at UC Davis. But first of all, guys, before I get into that, I can't stress this enough. But guys, subscribe helps my channel grow. I want to keep my monetization status, and the only way I can do that is with your help. Is if you hit the subscribe button, because if you think I'm worth listening to, or you just want to see some more of my other videos or my snippets from some games that I've gotten, just hit the subscribe button. It's as simple as that. Probably would only take you about 3 seconds of your time. So, anyway, guys, subscribe helps my channel grow. Let's get into this. I'm going to put up my banner here. See, Honda sweeps. RJ and Levi tied in 250 West. Denver not kind to Eli Tomac again. I'm going to talk about the 250s first. And while in terms of the win, there wasn't a lot to talk about because Jo Shimoda took the whole shot and led wire to wire. And that actually took me by surprise with the kind of year that Shimoda was having, because while he was riding good, just not outstanding, for him to win from gate to flag like that was a big surprise to me. Because honestly, I would have picked Shimoda for maybe second or third, maybe third most likely because of the year that he was having. And while while Hampshire and Kitchen would fight it out for the win, it didn't necessarily add up. But you can't say that that was an easy win for Jo Shimoda, because Levi Kitchen managed to keep him in sight despite his boot buckles coming undone. And that kind of took me back to when James Stewart was racing 125s in 2003, and he would kind of run everything loose. Like he would kind of like have his, I can remember when he had kind of pulled up his pants on the final lap at Phoenix, and David Bailey even talked about that he had ran his boot buckles loose, his pants unzipped or whatnot, just not as a bad fashion statement per se, but still that kind of took me back a little bit, you know. But still, for Levi Kitchen to be able to compensate riding like that with his boot buckles loose was a big statement in itself, because a lot of guys, that would really bug the crap out of them for sure. I can remember watching when I followed the Canadian motocross series when I think it was Kevin Johnson who was racing it was either Kevin Johnson or no, maybe it was Keith Johnson. That's Keith S. Johnson, who was racing the motocross series in Canada in the 450 class, and he was behind someone, and I think the chest protector strap was flapping around like this, like a tear off that was stuck on someone's thumb, and that was certainly bugged the crap out of somebody. And that would be really hard to not even look at, for me anyway. And I think everybody else too. But still, for Levi to be able to compensate riding like that, I got nothing but respect for Kitchen. And of course, with Kitchen finishing second, and I think RJ got fourth. Yes, he did get fourth. That puts Kitchen and Hampshire in a tie. Or no, actually, Hampshire got third at Denver. And that puts them in a tie in a winner-take-all matchup in the 250 East-West Showdown, or Shootout, depending on how you want to call it, at Salt Lake City. And I got to tell you, for Salt Lake City to be named the last race of the season just doesn't feel right, you know? Because really, I mean, obviously Sandboy Stadium was torn down, but still, for Allegiant Stadium to not host the final round of the Supercross season in Las Vegas just doesn't feel right. I don't know what you guys think, but that's just what it feels like to me. But still, anyway, as far as that goes, that Showdown, winner take all. May the best man win. Kudos to whoever wins it. But I'll tell you this. If Levi Kitchen wins this title, I will have no problem looking like a total idiot, okay? Because like I said at the start of the year, RJ Hampshire was my pick to win the West Coast title, okay? And for a while, Hampshire was making me look like a genius. And really, for Levi Kitchen to win it is a feel-good story, especially considering in 2019 that Mitch Payne was going for a title in both divisions, and both Cian Cirillo and I think Austin Fortner came up bust in the 250s. And since then, Pro Circuit had really yet to compete for a title. And it's been since 2017 that they've won a title in general. And that was, I think, Justin Hill in the 250s in the West Coast division. So hopefully that, part of me hopes that Levi Kitchen will end that drought for Pro Circuit Kawasaki and also get that 300th win. But, and why did I leave a comment on Cooksy's video saying that something was telling me that Austin Fortner was going to come off the couch and try to aid Levi Kitchen in winning the title? That's because I think back to 2009, granted it was the motocross season, where everybody came off the couch, including Ryan Morris, to help Christophe Pourcel win the title, and it didn't happen. Christophe was the only guy who really nailed his starts, and he took matters into his own hands in the second moto and won by a long shot. So something told me that maybe Pro Circuit will do the same thing here. Some may not have liked it. Some thought it was kind of ludicrous. I didn't think so. I mean, if they do it in motocross, why not Supercross? Really? And of course, with the possibility that Fortner would return, why not do that at the shootout? And of course, team orders. You see what I'm getting at here? Okay, so while I hope that, either way, I'm going to be happy with the West Coast titleists, regardless if it's Hampshire or Kitchen. Kudos to them, okay? And of course, in the East Coast title, it's a little bit more secured. Tom Vial looks like he's going to win this title as long as he doesn't do anything stupid. Unfortunately, it kind of looks like I'll be turned into an idiot on the East Coast with Hayden Deegan losing this title. And Hayden Deegan was my pick to win the East title, especially after how he looked in the World Supercross or the Super Motocross series and the 3-round series in the fall. So, obviously, I definitely hope that, I definitely hope that something that we're going to see a good race. But quite frankly, something tells me it is a done deal. And probably I'm going to look like a fool, at least on the East Coast anyway. Because Hayden Deegan was my pick for the title. I've already established that. But still, for Tom Vial to win it, that's also a feel-good story. Because he gets a year to defend it, and it looks like he might be going to 450s pretty soon. But good on Tom Vial, because I hope that he wasn't going to be like Ben Townley, who had finished second in the 250 class in 07, and then decide, oh, you know what, I'm ready for 450. He just kind of left the 250 class behind, which I thought was a dumb move all around for someone like Ben Townley. But at the same time, I could kind of see where he was coming from, especially racing in the World Motocross season. And they go by age in that series. All right, now the 450 class. Jett Lawrence looks like he's going to win the title in the 450s as a rookie. He's got a 20-point lead. He won the last race. And brother Hunter Lawrence made it a 1-2 finish for Honda and made it a complete sweep, okay? And that was the first time brothers had gone 1-2 in a lone race. I mean, we've had some brothers win titles like James Stewart and Malcolm Stewart, and we've even had guys, and we've even had a father-son win. win a race as well. Josh Hansen won Daytona in 2005, and Donnie Hansen, his dad, would win the 1982 250 Supercross championship, only to crash and be left comatose. And of course, we've also had, like I talked about, with James Stewart winning two 125 Supercross titles, Malcolm Stewart winning the West title in 2016, and or 2016, I think it was the East, or I think it was the West title, or maybe it was the East. I don't quite. Actually, I think it was the West. Actually, I think it was the East title. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it was the East. But still, that was a feel-good moment for Hunter Lawrence after the kind of years that he'd been having. Because I was one of those people who thought that maybe Hunter should have done what Carmichael didn't do after he swept the 125 East in 1998, and he decided to run the 250 class in 1999 in Supercross. And I was one of those people who thought that Ricky should have dropped down to 125s and defended that title. And I think Ricky even thinks that he should have done the same thing or rode the 125 West. I was one of those people who thought that Hunter Lawrence should have stayed in the 250s this season and defended that title and moved up, because he would have been out after this season regardless. Okay? But if he wanted to ride the 450 on the opposite coast, I think Honda should let him. And but still, for Hunter Lawrence to get second place behind his brother Jett, good on Hunter and good on the Lawrence family. But as you can also see on my banner right here, Denver not kind to Eli Tomac again. Eli Tomac crashed in practice, hurt his thumb. Turns out it's a thumb injury, and he will miss the opening few rounds of the motocross season. And he also announced earlier this week that he will miss the final round of Salt Lake City, which is unfortunate for him and for Team Yamaha, because Cooper Webb also has a thumb injury, and he will not contest the motocross season as far as current news is concerned, which is also unfortunate for sure, because I probably wouldn't have picked Cooper Webb to win any motocross races, because I just don't think motocross is his forte. And but for Cooper Webb to miss some races, that's going to hurt himself for sure, as far as speed wise and confidence wise is concerned. But if you're Chase Sexton, you've been given another gift. You're going to pull off third place in the series no matter what happens. And but not the kind of luck like last year when Tomac's Achilles snapped and Chase Sexton ended up winning his way into the championship, and all he really had to do was just finish the race. But obviously, with Chase Sexton finishing third, is certainly falling short of my prediction for the title, because I thought the way that Chase Sexton looked in motocross last year and even in 2022, that Chase Sexton was going to carry that speed from Honda into the Supercross title. And when he won San Francisco in that quagmire, I thought for sure that Sexton had found himself. But since then, he's been kind of hovering around third to sixth, and occasionally not have and occasionally have that kind of bad race like Eli Tomac would. But Eli Tomac has got to be the king of false senses of hope, because everybody's hyping up beast mode or whatnot. I wasn't hyping it up, because he had yet to prove that to me. Because what did it take for me to be convinced that beast mode was back if he did it in back-to-back races? Okay? And I don't think we saw that at all. We only saw that, and of course, other than Dallas, I don't think we saw beast mode from Eli Tomac at all this season. So as far as Jett Lawrence is concerned, as long as he doesn't do anything dumb, this title chase is over. But you never know what can happen. Ryan Villapoto lost a 20-point lead in 2007 and at Unadilla when a rock had busted his radiator. David Villeman gave up a 20-point lead when he outright decided not to ride the Daytona Supercross in 2002 when he hurt his shoulder during a photo shoot. So there's always that possibility, but if you're Cooper Webb, I wouldn't bank on something like that happening at all, really. Even though it is a motorsport and anything can happen at any time, as Greg Albertine once said, you never know what can happen. And as Chad Watts said, Ricky Carmichael's old mechanic, it's a machine, it has a mind of its own. And while I fully agree there, something tells me that as long as Jett Lawrence just keeps it upright, this title chase is over. Let's face it. And he's going to take a lot more merit to his title than Ryan Dungey did in 2010. Okay? And when Dungey won the title in 2010, a lot of the heavy hitters were on the sidelines. Stewart, Chad Reed, Andrew Short, Josh Grant. They were all on the sidelines. And eventually Ryan Villapoto. Okay? So that's what makes me feel that Jett Lawrence is going to take much more merit to his title than Ryan Dungey would have in 2010. And make no mistake, it's a big accomplishment for both Dungey and Jett Lawrence, but still, Jett Lawrence is going to take a lot more credit for his title. Let's face it, okay? So anyway, guys, that's all for today. And remember, subscribe, and we'll see you all for the Salt Lake City Supercross. I'll see you all for that. I will get to watch that live on USA. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And remember, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.